My name is Chris Rowland. I am president of your Stoddard County Farm Bureau Board of Directors. On behalf of the board, I'd like to welcome everybody to the 2024 Meet the Candidate Forum. At this time, will you please join me and the board in saying the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'd like to thank Jim Griebing and the Boot Hill Regional Planning Commission for the use of their building tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, all the candidates will be brought up in order as they appear on the ballot. Each candidate will give 5 minutes to give their pitch to the voters and 5 minutes for question and answers. Again, we will go in order of the ballot as provided by the Stoddard County Clerk's Office. At this time, I'll turn the meeting over to Mr. Gary Wyman for our Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you. Good evening. We are attempting tonight to have a informational dissemination night. That's what we want to do. As we bring the candidates up and they give their speeches and you ask questions of them, please be advised and aware that certain questions probably shouldn't be asked, not in this forum. Inflammatory questions will be shut down. But I do want you to have the opportunity to ask the questions that you need to ask of these candidates so that you can make an informed choice. So, without any further ado, I want to say one thing right now. You folks over on this side, if you get to feeling like you're just a little too close, if those folks on the outside would give you about a foot, you can sprangle out a little bit. Same thing happens over here. You guys can sprangle out a little bit. That don't bother us a bit in the world. Get comfortable. We're here for a while. This time I want to bring up the two candidates for State Senate. On the Republican side, we have incumbent Jason Bean, Senator Jason Bean, and the Democrat, Chuck Banks. Bring them both up together. Since you're on the top of the list, you get to go first. I guess you want the mic, huh?
Well, I can, or I can talk pretty loud. So thank you all very much for being here. Thank you, Farm Bureau, for hosting this event. My name is Jason Bean, State Senator from the 25th District. I'm a farmer from Peach Orchard, Missouri, currently raising cotton, rice, and soybeans. I've been in the Missouri Senate now for 4 years. Currently serve on the Transportation and Public Safety Committee, the Gubernatorial Appointments Committee, the Commerce Committee, which has to do with utilities, the Appropriations Committee, and I'm chairman of the Ag Committee. I'm also the Assistant Majority Floor Leader, and I'm running for Majority Floor Leader for next year. 4 years ago, I talked about my priorities, and I wanted to talk about some of the things we've been able to do since I've been in the office. One, education. When I took the office, the foundation formula was not being fully funded. The transportation formula was only being funded at approximately 19%, and teacher starting salary was actually at $25,000. Today, the formula is fully funded, the transportation formula is fully funded, and teachers now starting pay is at $40,000. Broadband expansion, we have expanded broadband every year in the Senate. In fact, this year, we have expanded to the tune of $1.5 billion being added for rural broadband expansion. Workforce development has been a very important topic. This year in Stoddard County, we are very proud that we were able to appropriate $1.1 million to a workforce development training center to be located right here in collaboration with Three Rivers College. Any questions, you can talk to Alicia Trammell and she'll fill you in. Healthcare. Healthcare is definitely a problem in our rural areas. We've been working with the Department of Health to come up with a solution for a new model for a rural hospital. We are very proud to appropriate $5 million going toward the possible building of a rural hospital, be the first model in the state of Missouri, and $5 million was appropriated for a hospital in the 25th District. We are also been very proud to appropriate $1.5 million for the SEMO Health Network Clinic in Bernie for expansion of their services, and also $1 million here in Dexter for the Smiles of Hope Dental Clinic located at the Lighthouse Church. Transportation infrastructure is very important to our area. I had the bill that created the Ports and Waterways Trust Fund, a dedicated fund for our ports and waterways. The Mississippi River is so important to our area. It's truly an artery for us to move our agriculture products throughout the world. Of interest, the Mississippi River Basin has more navigable miles than the whole rest of the world combined. That's how important that is. So we were able to establish that trust fund, and we've also made investments into the New Madrid County Port and the Pemscott County Port. We've also funded many rural roads and bridges, thanks to Governor Parson and his program on that. And then this year, how many of you are familiar with the 57 expansion corridor? 57 runs from Chicago, will end up in Dexter. This year, we did historic funding of $150 million into the 25th district to complete that project. We have never, ever appropriated that much money into the 25th district, so a huge investment into our area. Two quick bills that I'm very proud to carry. Property rights is very important to us, very important to Farm Bureau. We were able to pass eminent domain reform, standing up for property rights of owners. So when a transmission line comes through the state, property owners were going to be treated fairly. They told me I'd never pass that bill. Hadn't been done in 8 years. We were able to do it. Of interest, it was about 3:30 in the morning, and we passed it at about 5:30 in the morning when we finally got it done. Some of those farmer hours paid off. Something else was texting and driving. Texting and driving was illegal for those 21 and under. We passed that bill last year, so now, or 2 years ago, so texting and driving is illegal for all Missourians. And I'm telling you, that is such a safety issue. As many times as I drive up to Jeff City and back, I see somebody still yet distracted, and always, it's pretty scary. So proud of that bill. So just want to say a special thank you to Farm Bureau. They endorsed me 4 years ago, and they have endorsed me as well this year. Thank you for everything that Farm Bureau does. Having you come into the Capitol and tell your story is so important, because rural America, rural Missouri needs to be heard. So with that, I'd just like to say it's been an honor to serve as your state senator. I look forward to serving you the next 4 years, and I would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for coming. It's great to see this many people. This is my third Farm Bureau event, and my name is Chuck Banks. I'm retired. I live in Wayne County. I'll give you the Reader's Digest version. I was born in St. Louis, raised St. Louis County, moved to Jefferson County when I married my high school sweetheart, raised 4 kids there. In '85, I bought a farm in Wayne County. In 1987, I ran for mayor of the city of Peevely, and I was the youngest mayor ever elected there. We did great things there. We expanded the city. We expanded the sewer and the water. We put a little tax on industry. We were able to build a new city hall, new police department with a Sally Port. When my father passed away, we sold the business, and I retired from being mayor, and I went on economic development. I was chairman of the Community Cablevision, which is a not-for-profit organization in Jefferson County that took all the franchises from the cities and forced the cable companies to provide the highest level of technology to everyone in every one of the cities, which is something that the state has failed to do with the broadband, which is a terrible name for it. But anyway, after that, I was on economic development. Mel Carnahan appointed me to the State of Missouri Environmental Improvement Energy Resources Authority. We're the funding arm of the Department of Natural Resources. We passed billions of dollars in funding for pollution control and for energy. After that, I was hired by Dick Gephardt, the majority leader in the House of Representatives. He was then the minority leader. I was with Dick Gephardt for the last 8 years of his career. We brought hundreds of millions of dollars into the 3rd Congressional District, into the state of Missouri. I had Jefferson and St. Genevieve counties. We built the great St. Genevieve levee. We expanded all the highways. We did great things. We improved the quality of life at every level of government that I have participated in. I'm proud of my record. I'm proud of what we've done in Jefferson and St. Genevieve counties. When I moved down here, I retired in 2010, moved down here and ran a few campaigns, got old, got cancer, got heart disease and stuff. But when I saw that the state of Missouri had kicked 200,000 people off of Medicaid, and they lowered the food for the SNAP program, took 2 meals away from every hungry person in the state, and they did this so they could phase out corporate income tax. I had to do something. They have, for 22 years, the GOP has run the state of Missouri. They have given away all of the revenue. You just heard that they claim to have fully funded the school formula. No, they didn't. That's baloney. They changed the formula so that they could pay less. They just told you that they're going to raise the teacher salary to $44,000. They didn't put any money in it. You're going to have to pay that $44,000. They have taken all the revenue and given it away. The only thing that they have this year is the money that the Democrats brought them from Washington, and they all voted against it. So what I'm going to bring to Stoddard County and to Southeast Missouri is my years of experience, and I promise you we will have progress. Life will be better. A child born in Stoddard County has a shorter life expectancy than a child born in Honduras. That's outrageous. We used to be second to only New York City of states that had Fortune 500 company headquarters. Not anymore. They're all gone. We led the nation in education. Now we're in the bottom half. We're following behind Arkansas. It's outrageous. So I promise you this. I will bring progress to Southeast Missouri. I will introduce a bill in the first year that will require that every electric meter in the state of Missouri have a fiber optic line run to it. That means everyone will have access to the highest technology available in the world. There's nothing faster. I've done this before. We did it with cable television in Jefferson County. What they've done here has pretty much given away all the high-density locations, and the poor farmer that lives at the end of the road will never get it. So we've got to change that, and we can change it. It's something we can all agree on. We have a moral compass. You know, I can say when I was a child, my mom sent me to woke Democrat indoctrination school. She called it Sunday school. That's where we learned to love our neighbors, to feed the hungry, to cure the sick, and to not judge people. And we're a far cry from that now. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm here for you. I'm here to serve you. I can bring success to Stoddard County and to Southeast Missouri. Thank you all very much. I appreciate your vote in November.
Now then, we'll take some questions from the floor. First for Senator Bean. He'll have 5 minutes to respond to questions. So if you have a question of the senator, please stand to your feet and we'll get you a microphone so that you can ask your question. And is there anybody have a question? Question way back.
Yes, I was very, very honored to be a delegate for Missouri at the Republican National Convention. I will tell you the energy was absolutely incredible. I think it was going to be incredible anyway, but after the assassination attempt on Donald Trump, it was just an incredible experience. I'll tell you what, like I say, it was an honor to vote for Donald J. Trump, who will be our next president. I will tell you the security, the security was unbelievable. I'll tell you, we had 30 Missouri State Troopers there. Appreciate them being there. But, you know, just to get into the RNC was we had to get credentialed each and every day with new credentials. So once again, thank you for the question. Great experience. And I'll just say fight, fight, fight.
Any other questions? Just hang on to it.
I don't need that. Thank you, though. You mentioned the increase to 40,000 for the teachers. With the Biden economy the last 4 years, it's gone away. So what else can we do to get the teacher salaries up, or the state troopers, people like that? What else can be done? Because if this economy keeps up, there's nothing there.
I will tell you one thing that we did during COVID that was so good. We stayed open during COVID, so we have truly boosted our economy. I talked about investments into like our transportation infrastructure, bringing businesses in, continuing to gain those businesses, continuing to gain, build the economy is something that we definitely talked about when we passed out of the $400 million package to do that, and that was a lot of the discussion. But once again, bringing in those businesses, working with Department of Economic Development. I was on a trade mission earlier this year in Japan, once again, making sure those relationships are good, making sure we've got businesses coming in, and just making sure that Missouri is a great place to do business.
Any other questions?
Got one. Senator Bean, on the I-57 project. Stoddard County is a very heavily agriculture community. Will the outer roads and bridges be built to handle today's ag equipment and future ag equipment?
I will just say this, that's why it's so important to always have a farmer in the Missouri Senate, somebody that understands, what the weights are of our equipment, who, understands how heavy a cotton picker baler is, to make sure that we build those that are wide enough and heavy enough to understand that. I've been in discussions with MoDOT and making sure that those access points are built and built correctly. Absolutely.
Any other?
Can I answer a
Sure.
question? I'd like to address the Highway 57 question. The interstate highways have special standards, and those standards would include the weights that would accommodate farm equipment. Highway 57 was not going to be built until the infrastructure bill passed the House of Representatives. And, the number one economic development tool is roads. Nothing brings economic development more than roads. And your concern about the economy, this is the greatest economy we've had since the 50s. Look at all the indicators. Well, I'm not real good at telling lies, and that's not one. All I know is the facts, just like Will Rogers said. I only know what I read in the newspapers, and that's a fact. The only thing that we're dealing with is inflation, and we've got that under control. It's nowhere near what it was under the Reagan, if you remember that time when interest rates were 24% and the inflation was 4.5%. So we're doing fine on that. It's a matter of interpretation. Like I said, it's all in the numbers. They're all there, and that's because we put money in the pockets of people and shots in their arms and recovered from the horrible pandemic that we were told we could drink Clorox or stick a light up. I don't understand. So thank you very much.
Go ahead and hang on to that, because I'm now going to ask.
Anybody have a question for me? All right, just one final comment. It's hard to bring services to Stoddard County when there is no revenue at the state level. They gave away all the revenue. Corporations are going to pay no income tax, none. There's 2% now, it'll be none shortly, so you have to foot the bill. Corporations get off free. Question?
Whereas when's the last time you bought groceries here in southeast Missouri? Because
I
they're
buy
not
groceries
going down.
almost every day.
They're not going down.
I buy groceries every day, and I know that Walmart's profits are up by 37%, and we're paying for that. Corporate greed and corporations are the problem. It's not, like I said, I'm retired. I'm not a wealthy man, and I live on Social Security. I'm doing fine. I wish things were cheaper. But I know that if you want a job, there's a job.
We got a lot of people in southeast Missouri that live on $900 a month.
Yep,
$900 a month.
that's right.
Now that we've got this Medicare Advantage that's out, and falsely, and they get people switched over, and they lose their Medicare and Medicaid, and they're low income, and they still gotta pay copay on everything.
You're correct. Medicare Advantage is not Medicare. It's private insurance. It's the most profitable insurance in the insurance industry.
Then why are we allowing them to use Medicare?
It's, again,
Why are we allowing them to use?
you'd have to ask the last president when actually that was a George Bush. That was a George Bush issue. He's the one that opened Medicare up to private industry. It's a bad decision, very bad decision. You know, here, yes, sir.
It's been a while since George Bush was there. What have they done to change it? Why can't our
Well, Barack Obama brought Obamacare, okay? And it was a compromise, but I'll tell you, it saved my farm when I got cancer. I'm very happy that I had it then, and I wish I had it now, but I have Medicare, so I have an 80-20 program. You can have more services. You can fully fund Medicaid. That's why we don't have health care here in Stoddard County, because Medicaid doesn't pay for the total cost of the actual health care that's provided. And many people are not eligible for it. Every person in the state of Missouri should have health care. And you can only do that with funding. And you only get funding from taxes. And you don't want to ask the middle class to pay taxes, so why in the world would you give away all the corporate taxes in the state of Missouri? That's why there's no hospitals here, because they can't survive on Medicaid.
Maybe that's why we don't have the chicken right here.
Well, that's another issue. And that's the one you can thank the Farm Bureau for. You remember the old Right to Farm bill? That was really a CAFO bill. Thank Farm Bureau for that one.
Thank you very much for your questions this evening. If you would like to talk to either one of these candidates, they will be around, sitting out in the outside edges somewheres. Let's give both Senator Bean and Mr. Banks a hand for being here tonight.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Senator.
All right, if I can get Steve Jordan, come on up. Is Donnie Hovis here? So it looks to me like, Mr. Jordan, you're going to be the one we're going to talk to tonight.
So I can leave.
No, you cannot leave.
Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to thank Farm Bureau for hosting this event for all the candidates, and I'd also like to, there you go, thank you. I'd also like to thank Boot Hill Regional Planning for allowing them to host here. My name's Steve Jordan. I'm from Advance, Missouri. Been here 62 years. My dad was born in Paynton, Missouri, so my roots run pretty deep here in Stoddard County in District 152. My wife and I, Danielle, will be married 46 years next Tuesday. 4 daughters, 5 grandchildren. We've been involved in 4-H rodeo, raised a lot of nice horses over the years in several different disciplines, barrels, poles, roping horses, a few nice race horses along the way. I'll put these glasses on here. I'm also a member of Cape County Cowboy Church, have been a elected official up there 3 years as a leadership team, and served that term and started the barrel horse ministry 12 years ago with the help of the preacher up there. We put on barrel clinics, and we also put on horsemanship clinics to believers and future believers. I'm pro-life. I have the Missouri Right to Life endorsement. I also have Mr. Joe Watson's endorsement. When I was commissioner, my first term, Joe was a very good mentor to me. He was honest, level-headed. His integrity, if you knew Joe, was never in question about anything, and I appreciate his endorsement and his help. I'm pro-law enforcement. I'm pro-Second Amendment. I am pro-constitutional because, like the Bible, the Constitution is not a living, breathing document. Unless it's amended, it should be followed to the T. I worked in Bloomfield for 34 and a half years at heavy-duty trucks. I went to work for Jim and Melba in January 1st, 1988, and ran that business after Jim got sick. Worked for Jim for a couple of years, and then about 2 years later, he put me in charge of running the company. And in August of 1994, the Harold Williams family, Terry Wood, and I bought out heavy duty. And in our peak season, we had 44 trucks running under our authority. We had 118 drivers. I was in charge of all the westbound sales for the trucks to get them back to California. Was in charge of purchasing equipment, getting rid of the trades, or selling the equipment. So I've got a little experience at taking care of business. We were there in June 30th of 2022, we sold out. And very happy to be out of business this day and time, to say the least. I think my experience of running that company, 6 years commissioner here in Stoddard County as well, 13 years Pike Township board member or president. So I think with my experience, I'm very well equipped to represent the district as your next state representative of the 151st. And I thank you for your time, and I appreciate y'all being here.
You just keep it in case we have a question.
Okay.
Anybody have a question for Mr. Jordan? I don't see any. I believe you got off pretty easy.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
This time, could we have the two candidates for circuit judge? No, he's going to go first. And as was stated previously, we bring you up in the order that you're printed on the ballot. So, Mr. Todd.
Good evening. My name is Darren Todd. I'd like to thank Farm Bureau and, of course, Show Me Times and the Delta Statesman for being here, as well as A-Corp Media for broadcasting this. My name is Darren Todd, as indicated. I'm 51 years old. I graduated from Holcomb in 1991. I'm a 1996 graduate of Southeast Missouri State University and a 1999 graduate of Southern Illinois University School of Law. I practiced law for about 23 years. During that time, I've had experience doing everything that the Division I judge could do. I've had jury trials from municipal traffic sign violations all the way up to first-degree murder trials. I've handled everything in regards to the civil matters that were handled in Division I. I've been on the plaintiff side of a jury trial involving a civil case. I've been on the defense side of a civil case. There's nothing in the Division I level that is handled at this judgeship that I have not done. And I would ask you to think about the qualifications to be a circuit judge. You have to be 30 years old, live in Missouri for 10 years, and a United States resident. I meet all of those qualifications. And you may say to yourself, well, what about your experience? I just laid out my experience. There's nothing in the Division I level that I've not handled or done during my time as an attorney in Southeast Missouri. There's three things that I want people to know about me. First is that I have 3 children. Annalise is 23. She has lives in Zenith with Matt Chandler, who farms. She's done one of the greatest things that I could have ever hoped for. She has my first grandchild, Walker. He is 1, and he's the light of my life, and I'm very appreciative of that. I have the middle son, Jack, who's 20, who's a member of the Missouri National Guard, who woke up one day and said, Dad, I've joined the military. And I said, excuse me? He said, yes, sir. I'm going to spend my junior summer at Fort Benning, Georgia, at basic training. And then his senior summer, he went for advanced infantry training, and he did another 16 weeks at Fort Benning, which they call it Fort Moore now, but it'll always be Fort Benning for the people who know. And he's stationed in an infantry unit here in Sykeston. My youngest son, Evan, is 16. He is a sophomore at Kennett High School, soon to be a junior. He enjoys playing soccer. He's on a soccer team, and he's just enjoying his summer. So those are my 3 children. In addition, my campaign, 100% self-funded. You can get on the Missouri Ethics Commission, look up who has given money to my opponent and who's given money to me. All the money that I've spent on my campaign, whether it's signs, billboards, flyers, pamphlets, cards, sponsorships, all out of my pocket that I earned. I don't take any money from anyone. That's not the case for my opponent. You can look on the Missouri Ethics Commission. His report will indicate how much money he has taken from outside sources. Now, you say, why is that important? I want you to know that I don't take any money from anyone. I'm not beholden to any kind of special interest. I'm not beholden to any kind of individuals who may have sway over me because they've given me some money in the past. This is all about what the law is and how the law should be interpreted. And finally, if elected, according to the Missouri Constitution, we just talked about the Constitution with Mr. Jordan, in the state of Missouri, the circuit judge is a 6-year term. 6 years. You also, circuit judges are required to retire when they're 70. My opponent is 67. He'll be 68 when he takes office, which means he cannot complete the full term. He can do 2 years and 1 month. He cannot complete it. That is no fault of anyone's other than that's how the Constitution is written. It has not been amended. It has not been changed. That is the law. And you say, well, what happens when he becomes 70? He immediately is removed from office, and we do not have a judge until someone from Jefferson City appoints that person to be a judge. Who's our next governor? We have no clue. There's 8 people running on the Republican ticket, 3 people running as a Democrat. We don't know who the next governor is going to be. So what I'm telling you now, I am 100% self-funded. I am qualified and have the experience to do the Division I job. And I can complete the term. I want to be your judge. That's why I'm going from town to town. That's why I'm going to event. That's why I'm meeting and greeting people. That's why I want to be your judge. Please, I want your vote on August 6th. Darren Todd, Circuit Judge. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me correct one thing he said. He said he's done everything or handled every case that a Circuit I judge does. He's not sentenced people to terms after they've been convicted. He's not listened to people that have violated their probation, and the judge has to make a decision on whether or not to be revoked. The judge's position is a unique position, brings a unique perspective to cases when they're held before him. And so even though I was a lawyer for 15 years before I became a judge, I can tell you that when you take on the position of judge, it's a whole different perspective. And you take cases and you have decisions by the hundreds that have to be decided each week, and it's not always easy. And so the other judges that have become judges will tell you that it takes anywhere from a year and a half or 2 to feel really good about your work as a judge, to feel confident. Now, let me say this, and I'll get into my background. Most of you know that I grew up here in Stoddard County, about 8 miles away. Grew up on the farm. Farmed until 1994. It's been 30 years since I put in a crop. And since that time, I've been back to undergraduate school. I went to law school, graduated with all those degrees, one from Southeast Missouri State University and one from the University of Missouri at Kansas City. I'm blessed to have grown up on the farm. My dad taught us how to work hard, how to be honest, how to be fair, how to treat people, and I'm grateful for that. And my mother took me to church at First Baptist Church and taught me Christian values, which I'm very proud to say that I possess. You know, I've been married to my wife, Nancy, for 46 years. We raised 3 children. Jason, who's 41, he's a farmer. Dustin, who is 38, he's an attorney. And Daniel, who is 36, he is an employee for Riceland Foods in Jonesboro, Arkansas. All 3 of those young men have made Nancy and I proud, and they're hard workers, and we've been blessed to call them our sons. We've got 6 grandchildren. I'm a 4th generation Stoddard County, and my great-grandfather built a house south of Baker Implement down here on Airport Road, and so we've been here for a number of years. You all know that when I came back, I set up a law practiced law for 15 years before I became a judge, and had to go back to school. I lost my job out at Arvin Automotive. I worked there for 12 years, lost my job, went back, got my undergraduate degree from SEMO, and then my law degree from the University of Missouri, Kansas City. Became a lawyer at a later age, at 40 years of age. So it was quite a change, but God really blessed me and helped me through all that change. Let me talk to you a little bit about my time as judge. I made a commitment when I became judge. I told you that I promised to apply the law fairly, consistently, and impartially, and we've created a strong record of doing that in this circuit. And you might want to know, well, what exactly does a circuit judge do? Well, I've got a few sheets of paper here with some of the cases that I've handled. I had a case back in 2016 where a man was accused of murder in the 1st degree and with armed criminal action. I gave him a life sentence with 20 years to run consecutively with that 30-year sentence. I had another man, 18 SDCR 1274 case. He was charged with rape. He was a registered sex offender from another state, from the state of Florida. He had a long list of felonies from Florida, and he was convicted beyond a reasonable doubt. He got 30 years in the Missouri Department of Corrections. Had another man who attempted and did rob the break time facility here in Dexter. He received a 25-year sentence. Had a man in Dunklin County that got convicted of murder in the 2nd degree. He got a 30-year sentence. Had a man here in Stoddard County who murdered her husband while he laid on the couch asleep, pumped him full of 6 bullets, and then went back to load up again. Gave him a life sentence without parole and sentenced him for 25 years with armed criminal action. You know, we've been tough on crime. We've enforced it. We've also tried to be fair and tried to help those that are addicted to drug and alcohol. We've sent them to rehab facilities like John 3:16, like Breaking Bonds, and we've seen that that's helped them a number of times. In regards, I'll take the question in regards to the having to retire at 70.
Okay. This time, we're going to open the floor for questioning. First, for Mr. Todd. Does anybody have any questions for Darren Todd? I don't see any. Looks like you're off the hot seat.
Thank you very much.
Do we have any questions for Mr. Mayor? You want to respond to his question?
Certainly. You know, he is right that I am 67 years old. I'll be 67 if you reelect me in August and November. It is true that at 70 you have to retire, and then the governor appoints a person to fill the position. It's kind of interesting to know that the last 3 circuit judges that we've had here in Stoddard County, They were all appointed. Judge Sharp, Judge McCaney, Judge Billings, all of them were appointed by a governor. Also in New Madrid and Pemiscot County, their circuit judge was appointed by a governor. In Scott County and Mississippi County, their judge was appointed by a governor. In Butler, Ripley, and Carter, their judge was appointed by a governor. Let me tell you this, I'm the only experienced true conservative on the ballot, and my record will show it. My time in the Missouri Senate, the Missouri House, I was a Republican, passed a number of conservative legislation that helped protect our communities, our families, and our children. And I pledge to you that if reelected, I'll continue to protect your family and your children and our communities as your circuit judge. I appreciate your vote. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I understand.
At this time, I'd like to call up Mr. C.D. Stewart, Commissioner, 1st District, Stoddard County.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate the opportunity to speak. I don't really have much to say, but a year and a half ago, I was appointed to Commissioner for 1st District and never had served in any public service, and it's turned out to be a really good experience for me and enjoyed it. And I think I've contributed a lot, or I like to feel like I have. So I would appreciate you. I don't have an opponent, so I'm pretty fortunate in that respect, but I do appreciate your support from everybody that I've talked with and been out there in the public. So if you have any questions or anything I can ever do for you, just give me a call or come and see me, and I'll try to help you do whatever we can do. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Stewart?
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Stewart? Thank you, C.D. At this time, I'd like to bring up the 3 candidates for Commissioner District 2. That is Mr. Wes Howard, Ms. Carol Gerald, and Mr. Jeff Riddle. And as it turns out, Mr. Howard, you get to go first.
All right. Well, thank you all for having me. I appreciate the opportunity today to speak to you. My name is Wes Howard. For those that may not know me, I'm 46 years old, and I am a Christian and a Republican, and obviously running for the Associate Commissioner position for District 2. I've been married to my wife, Bonnie, for 25 years. I'm very proud of her and that accomplishment. We have 3 wonderful children. Kaylee Howard Foster, she's married to Owen Foster. Jackson, he's a senior at Dexter High School. And Grant, he's going into the 2nd grade. I'm very proud of all of them. My parents, Marty and Phyllis Howard, still live here in Stoddard County. So do my brother and his family, and my sister, Katie, and her family. I'm a 1996 graduate of Dexter High School, and then I went on to Harding University, where I studied in the business department. My major was business management. I graduated from Harding in December of 2000, and I'm very proud of that time there. It was a great place to get an education. And my wife also graduated from Harding. After we graduated, we were fortunate enough to be able to move back home to Dexter, where I started my first business, Howard Custom Spraying. I sprayed and applied pesticides to crops commercially for about 8 years for farmers in and around this area, and made some good friendships with a lot of people in and around the ag community. I'm grateful for that time and that experience. And then after that, I went on and got my property and casualty license, and I sold mostly crop insurance with that through countywide insurance. And I'm grateful for that time and for that opportunity that I had with Allen and countywide insurance. In 2012, I joined my brother in our current business, Heartland Crop Consultants, a business that he started in 2008. This will be my 13th season working as a partner with him, and I'm very grateful for all the relationships that I've made with all the farmers we work for, and them letting us help them, and in turn making a living on their shoulders. We have the best farmers in the world right here in our area, and that's not an opinion. That's an educated observation through working with them for many years. I grew up on the farm also. My dad farmed for many years, and I learned many life lessons there, like work ethic, how to work hard for what you want, to trust in God, have faith, and countless other common sense life lessons. If you would have told me 5 years ago that I'd be standing here in front of you tonight, I would have most likely said, I'm not sure about that. But time and experience in life have a way of changing our perspective and our goals. I've been told in the past that I'm a good teammate, a good leader, a good listener, that I have a big heart, and that I'm a hard worker. But what good are those qualities if I keep them to myself? The Bible tells us to serve others, to love one another, to lead by example, but you can't do those things by yourself. They all take other people. I've always known that one day I would want to be more involved and to be able to make an impact in our community and our county. I believe my work experience and my education qualifies me for that. I am conservative and traditional by nature, and I believe in balance. It is time for me to step forward, basically, out of my comfort zone. We need leaders with common sense, with family values, good morals, integrity. Men and women who lead by example in how they live and how they serve others. Men and women who love and honor God. We together can make changes for the better in our schools, our communities, our county, our state, and our country, but those of us who are qualified and care have to be willing to step up, even if that means being uncomfortable. As I said before, my entire family lives in Stoddard County, and all of us in District 2, which I think is very important. So as you can see, I'm fully invested in our county and its success. Stoddard County has given a great life to me and my whole family, and it's time for me to start giving back by serving you. I'm walking through the door full speed ahead and hoping to help shape the future of our county for the better. So with your vote on August 6th in the primary election, I promise to do just that. The time for a change is now, and I'm humbly asking for your vote. Thank you.
We'll get to your questions after that. Next on the list is Miss Carol Jarrell.
Thank you. Don't start yet, 'cause I don't have my papers. I'm sorry. Wow, what a great looking crowd we have here tonight. Thank you all for coming out. Thank you, Farm Bureau, for hosting the Meet the Candidate Forum. And thank you, Boot Hill Regional Planning Commission, for letting us use your venue. I am Carol Jarrell, your County Commissioner for District 2. That is Liberty Township and Elk Township. I come with 16 years of experience. But first of all, I want to tell you the county government building is your building. And the seat that I sit in is your seat. I work for you. I serve you, the citizens of Stoddard County, and I am a steward of your tax dollars. During my 16 years, I have always worked hard to serve with integrity, stewardship goals and morals, and most of all, common sense. I have dedicated those years to you and the county to keep the county strong and never operating in the red. I have worked with MoDOT to replace bridges, approximately 22, that's just a rough figure, making them safer for our school buses to cross, farmers with large and newest equipment, grain trucks to cross, and individuals that are crossing daily. Working with each elected official holder through these 16 years, I was in favor of always making sure that they had the newest technology and software equipment to make their office run more efficiently and safer to serve you. Backing our law enforcement has been a #1 goal and priority for me, keeping our county safe for you, me, our children, and our grandchildren. In 2019, I supported and campaigned for the 1/2 cent sales tax for our sheriff's department. That was for better pay for our deputies, our jailers, and our dispatchers. You know, we needed better equipment for our road deputies to make their work safer and help make the county safer. Also, there was a 1/2 cent sale tax to build a new jail, and I saw personally firsthand that we needed a new jail. But a huge thank you goes out to you, the taxpayers, that overwhelmingly voted yes for this. In December of each year, the elected office holders are asked to submit their budget or their wish list for coming new year. So in January, Mr. Weeks and the commissioners sit down and get to work. For 16 years, we have always had a balanced budget. Our revenue is always estimated on the conservative side because you never know what may come about through the year or how the economy will be. The expenses are never more than the revenue. Our office holders are very conservative in their request and their spending, and I am proud to say our county is solid. I know most of you have heard about the ARPA funds that we received. We received about $5,637,766, and with these funds, we were able to help many water districts, townships, road districts for infrastructure, also broadband for Puxico for the residents there, and Bell City got a new fire station. In closing, I am humbly asking for your vote to reelect me, Carol Jarrell, on August the 6th, 2024. When I started this journey in 2008, I stood before a large crowd and I said, I am a wannabe. I want to be your county commissioner for District 2. I vow to work hard for you, to listen to you, and always do what is right for you and always what is right in the eyes of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I don't want to give my age. I know a lot have. I've been a resident of Stoddard County since 1975. I've been married to the same wonderful man for 58 years. 2 children, a wonderful son and a daughter, and 6 of the most beautiful grandchildren ever. Thank you ever so much. God bless you all. Sorry.
Mr. Riddle?
Good evening, everyone. I want to thank the Farm Bureau and the Boot Hill Regional Planning for hosting this event. I'm Jeff Riddle, and I greatly appreciate you taking time to be with us this evening. I want to acknowledge Carol Jarrell and Wes Howard as we each seek the same office. I believe that all levels of government are and should be managed like a successful business. To me, the most obvious difference between a private business and the business of the government is where the money comes from. As you know, in private business, the owner spends his money. In county government, your elected official spends your money, your tax dollars. And where does your tax dollars come from? Sales tax. In the last several years, because of Bidenomics and a high rate of inflation, we are paying 10 to 15% more for everyday products. As bad as this is for consumers, it's resulted in the county collecting more in sales tax than ever before. However, these additional funds can quickly vanish if it's not responsibly budgeted by our commissioners. No office holder, including me, should be given a blank check to spend your tax dollars. Sales tax revenue is established for the budgets of each of the county offices. The offices include the sheriff, the coroner, county collector, the assessor, the recorder of deeds, the prosecuting attorney, the juvenile office, the recorder of deeds, and the detention center. The commission is also responsible for ensuring that our bridges are safe and meet the needs of our rural businesses, farmers, and communities. The primary responsibilities of the commissioner are: 1, allocate, oversee, manage the general fund. I believe that county expenses should never exceed the county's yearly revenue projections, and that when possible, money should be set aside for any unforeseen county expense. The county budget is around $6 million. Number 2, establish and improve detailed budgets for each county office, making certain that each office holder has enough funds to fulfill the required duties of their office and provide all the necessary needs to meet the needs of the county and the citizens. 3, review the monthly budget reports of each office holder to monitor percentage of their total budget amounts for each category, and will discuss the reason for any overages with the county office holder. Number 4, review and approve weekly vouchers from each office holder. If a bill is submitted that I believe requires clarification, I will not hesitate to ask the office holder for an explanation. As a business owner, I must project my expected gross revenue for the year. I know the difference between wants and needs. Based on my yearly business projections, I may not be able to buy everything I want, but I make certain I buy everything I need to get my business through the day. I will do the same for your county office holders. I will have everything they need when it comes to your taxpayer money. Jeff Riddle, as your commissioner, will ensure your tax dollars are spent in a business-like, financially responsible manner. In closing, I'm the only candidate with public safety experience. I've dedicated over 30 years to the Dexter Fire Department. I received thousands of hours of emergency response training. I'm the only candidate with all the federal NIMS and ICS training. And NIMS is National Incident Management System, and ICS is Incident Command System, which is required to work with the federal and state agencies in the event of a disaster. I have worked with all these federal agencies before on multiple disasters, working with the command staff, doing briefings and budgets. My years of service has shown me how important public safety is in Stoddard County. And as your commissioner, I will always support our first responders and the agencies they represent. My business experience and professional training makes me uniquely qualified to deal with any issue that may confront our county. Every citizen in Stoddard County should be confident that their elected officials are concerned, able, capable of protecting the personal and financial well-being of each of them and their families. I have a business and professional background to do so, and I promise to protect and serve the best interests of Stoddard County. Thank you, and God bless the United States of America. And I also would ask for your vote for District 2 for Commissioner. Thank you.
This time, we'll open the floor for questions for Mr. Howard. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Howard? Seeing none, does anybody have any questions for Ms. Gerald? Anybody have any questions for Mr. Riddle? Folks, I think they all heard what they need to hear. Thank you for your participation. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we are approximately halfway through our evening here tonight. I would like to take 5 minutes and allow some of you the opportunity to go to the restroom. More importantly, some of you need to stand up and stretch your legs. As a retired teacher, the first thing that goes is attention when the rear end gets painful. We'll call you back in 5 minutes.
Ladies' restroom is over here to my right underneath the exit sign. Men's restroom to my left underneath that exit sign. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please find your way back to your seats? Please find your way back to your seats, and with the candidates for sheriff, please come to the front. Sheriff's candidates, please come to the front.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you all are ready, we're going to get started with our proceedings again. And our next race that we're going to discuss is the race for sheriff. As we said earlier, according to our rules, as we're going to take them as they come on the ballot. Our first speaker is going to be Mr. Thomas Forkham.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for being here tonight, and thank you to Farm Bureau for hosting this event. My name is Thomas Forkham, and I'm a Republican candidate for Stoddard County Sheriff. I'd like to introduce my wife, Addie, and our daughter, Emery. Thank you. I have a proven record in law enforcement with 10-plus years of experience. In 2014, I graduated the SEMO Law Enforcement Academy and began my career at the Malden Police Department. I then worked at the Stoddard County Sheriff's Department for Sheriff Hefner. I started working at Dexter Police Department in 2018, and since then I've held the title of K-9 Handler, Corporal, and now Sergeant Detective. Once I was promoted to detective in 2020, I became a member of the Stoddard County Major Case Squad. As a detective, I've been trusted with investigating some of Stoddard County's most violent, disgusting, and unspeakable crimes. I've always been proactive and willing to put the work necessary in to obtain justice. Being the Stoddard County Sheriff has been a dream of mine for many years. I made the decision to run in 2023 after Sheriff Hefner made clear his intentions of retiring this current term. I'm focused on the future of our county and would love to see improvements made as well as bringing new ideas to the table. As your sheriff, my goal is to keep our county as safe as possible with effective law enforcement strategies and to maintain a respectable relationship with the general public. I will lead from the front lines and set an example within the department. Deputies will be held accountable for their actions and will be held to a high standard of professional and ethical conduct. Keeping Stoddard County citizens informed on pertinent issues is important to me. Maintaining an open line of communication with the public, is beneficial in many ways, and I will also have an open door policy for issues to be brought to my attention. I will work to the best of my ability with all law enforcement agencies in the county. I already have a great working relationship with the prosecutor's office, all police departments in the county, and surrounding agencies. The citizens of Stoddard County and keeping the county safe are my #1 priority. The amount of conversations had regarding rural Stoddard County Stoddard County crime victims that have requested assistance and never received any is unacceptable. Being a rural Stoddard County citizen myself, I will not stand for this. I have new ideas that I'd like to implement when I'm elected. I'd like to utilize new technology within the department. I am trained and certified on some of the best forensic investigative tools in the country, and I would love to see this technology in use. As we all know, technology is here to stay, and if you aren't up to date, you will be left behind. I will also focus on getting fully staffed. I believe that adding a third general detective would be beneficial to the department. I've had multiple high-quality officers reach out to me expressing interest in working at the Sheriff's Department when I'm elected. When fully staffed, I'd like to change the deputy schedule to 12-hour shifts. This would give Stoddard County citizens 24-hour coverage 7 days a week. If you have the manpower for 24-hour coverage, there should be a deputy available at all times. I believe this change alone will help tremendously with the current turnover issues. You, the voters, are awarded the responsibility of determining what our county's future will look like. Becoming your sheriff is a long-term goal of mine, and I believe it's what's best for our county. Honesty, integrity, and accountability are crucial to serving our community. I stand tall in support of my Christian values and my conservative beliefs. We cannot continue to be a county that is comfortable in complacency. Change is inevitable, and I believe moving forward that change will be the best option for our county. Let's focus on the future and change our community for the better together. Thank you.
Next, we have Sheriff Carl Hefner.
Hello. I think most of y'all in this room know me. I've been around for quite some time now. I've been with the sheriff's office for 32 years. I'm my 20th year as sheriff. I believe that Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, I believe all men are created equal. I support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of Missouri. And I support our Second Amendment rights to own and bear arms, and I believe that that right should not be infringed upon. Over the past 20 years, we've dealt with, other than crime, in 2009, we had the big ice storm. We were out in force. We worked tirelessly 24/7. My crew was out most of the time. They come out on their own. They wasn't getting paid. We brought our own tools. Then we had the floods. We had two floods, one in 2011, one in 2017. Same scenario. We were out doing rescues, rescuing people, getting them into warming shelters, rescuing their livestock, things of that nature. Of course, we all know we've been through several tornadoes. Same thing. We were out in force. My crew was, my staff was taking care of the needs of people that had been misplaced or displaced. And then, of course, the pandemic. We all had the pandemic. What a nightmare that was. For the first year or so, we weren't affected with it at the sheriff's office. We slid by. Then once it got into jail, it went through the jail like wildfire. We had, I think, 65 prisoners at the time. 100% of the prisoners got COVID. 80% of my staff had COVID, including myself. But we didn't stay home. We weren't afraid of infecting anyone at the sheriff's office because everybody had COVID. So everybody come to work, everybody done their job. They were sick, but they were devoted to their jobs. They were devoted to the community. They were devoted to you all to keep everyone safe. I have over 50 employees at the sheriff's office. Now, when you're a sheriff, it's not just, writing a few tickets and maybe working a shoplifting at Walmart or something like that. As a sheriff, you work with a budget, you supervise operations, oversee grants, equipment purchases, audits, technology. We stayed in tune with technology. As technology increases, we increase with it. So we are up on that. Supervise operations. Now, I want to get away from that for a minute. Look around the community. Look around the area. Look at Cape County, Scott County, Penobscot County, Dunklin County, Butler County, Mississippi County. What's going on there? Gangs, gang violence, drive-by shootings. Every 2 days, there's a shooting in one of those areas. Every 2 days. We don't have that here. We are about law and order. We make sure that doesn't enter into our county. We work hard to prevent that. When you go to bed at night, feel comfortable that you can lay your head down because we are not infested with gangs and violence. We work hard against that. The sheriff's office, myself, and my staff, we make a strong presence in schools, churches, businesses, and in the community. We fight back against crime and violence. Sex offenders, we are tasked with the job of overseeing and making sure our sex offenders are registered and we know where they're at. We have 127 sex offenders in Stoddard County. We are 100% compliant, other than we have one sex offender that we don't know where he's at, but he does have a warrant issued on him. We have done the PC and got a warrant issued on him. It's just a matter of finding him. Other than that, we're 100% compliant. We check up on them. We put package together, we go out, and we make sure they're living where they're supposed to be living, they're driving what they're supposed to be driving, they're working where they're supposed to be working, and we monitor any social media they have, like Facebook or something like that. I have a couple people that's what they do. They go out and make sure that they are not out here committing crimes against mainly our children. Something I'm proud of. Remember a few years ago whenever BLM, Black Lives Matter, rumor was it was coming to Stoddard County, and everybody got real nervous about it. People banded together, citizens banded together. They were going to go out and they was going to desecrate our veteran cemetery. Then they were going to go over and they was going to desecrate the old Civil War cemetery. At the veteran cemetery, there was around 175 citizens that manned the front gate of that cemetery with firearms. They weren't going to let it happen. They were going to protect their heritage. A lot of veterans. Anyway, we stood with him. We were out there with him the entire time. It didn't happen, but it might. One thing you need to be aware of, in the state of Missouri right now, the stats show that there are 80,000 undocumented illegals in the state of Missouri, mostly in St. Louis and Kansas City area, but make no mistake, they're going to end up here at some point. And we're going to stand firm against them. We are not going to let them do what they are doing in other places.
You get to talk again in a minute. I have a feeling he had a lot more to say. So you can ask him a question and he'll have 5 more minutes. This time, though, we're going to open the floor for questions for Mr. Forkham. Does anyone have a question for Mr. Forkham? One right here.
Yes, sir.
I have a question. One thing I'll be forward with you, I am a part-time employee of the Stoddard County Sheriff's, but this doesn't have anything to do with that.
Okay.
My question is, ever since we had one president to run, his slogan was, "We'll fundamentally change America." I've been awful cautious of everybody's slogans and let them explain it. What do you mean by focus on the future?
Well, focused on the future for me means Sheriff Hefner, he made clear intentions that he was going to retire. I believe that nobody deserves to be the sheriff. Somebody has to get out and earn it. And that's what focus on the future means for me. Anybody else?
Are there any other questions for Mr. Forkham?
Yes, sir.
If there's a federal agency that comes to my home to take my firearms, what are you going to be able to do about that, and what will you be able to do about that?
Sure. Just like Sheriff Hefner, I stand with Second Amendment. That's an issue that I don't think that we're going to see here in Stoddard County. It could, but as the sheriff, I believe that we got to do what we can to keep our guns in our homes. We got to have our guns.
Any other questions for Mr. Forkham? Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Hefner? Yes, sir. Steve Jordan.
I'd like to ask Mr. Pepper the same question that gentleman asked. What are you going to do if the feds come and take our guns?
Actually, I was faced with that. A couple years ago, I had a FBI agent show up in my office, and he told me why he was there, and it was they were planning on going around and taking everyone's firearms away from them. They had been given that order from D.C. He said in my office, and he said, when that happens, are you going to help us? I said, absolutely not. I said, I will be standing with the citizens of Stoddard County. I'll be with them 100%, and we are not going to allow you guys to come in and try to take everybody's firearms away from us. I've already been there. I've already expressed my opinion to the FBI, what my intentions would be.
Any other questions for, yeah, right over here.
Sheriff, just real quick, start to say something about these border busters that we've got all over our country and how many we've got in the state of Missouri. When you start talking about a contingency plan, can you go ahead and elaborate a little further about something like that? If somebody comes into Stoddard County, how are we going to handle it?
Well, it depends on if they start committing crimes or not. And it depends on if they start trying to put together gangs or not. And then we'll go from there. That's how we will handle it. I already got a list of people's names, phone numbers, and everything. Did you ever hear of posse comitatus? That's what we, that's not out of the question,
Any further questions for Mr. Harris? Right there.
In the last election, it was brought up about 24-hour coverage for the citizens of Stoddard County. Do you know why we do not receive that?
We do have 24-hour coverage.
Okay.
And I addressed that 4 years ago.
Okay, it was just my
And I would be more than
understanding
happy
from
to
3 to 6
to explain
a.m. we
that.
do not have coverage.
I can explain that to you if you would like me to.
Yeah, it was just my understanding from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. we do not have coverage.
No, from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. I have deputies that go off duty at 5 a.m. I have deputies that come on duty at 6 a.m. The deputy goes off at 5 a.m. is on call till 6. The deputy that comes on at 6 is on call back at 5 o'clock. So it's like you say the Highway Patrol has 24-hour coverage. Do they? No. They have a car on call that will come out if they need be. EMS, the ambulance, they say they got 24-hour coverage. Do they? No, they don't. They're not out driving around these roads waiting on a call to come out. They're back at the station waiting on a call because they're available for a call, but they say they have 24-hour coverage. So we have 23-hour coverage, but we have two deputies on call at that time.
Any further questions?
Yes.
Ma'am, if you would wait just a second, we can't hear you.
Oh. Would you address the retirement issue that's been brought up?
With the sheriffs?
Yes. That you're not going to.
What? Oh, I never said for a fact I was going to retire. I was debating on retiring, but I never said that I was going to retire at all. Gotta say something else. Okay, this question come up 4 years ago. It's like deja vu, and it's floating around again, and it's strictly rumor. The rumor is that I'm going to run, and if I get elected, I'm going to step down and turn that over to a deputy in my office. That's strictly rumor. That is not true. I don't have the authority to do that at all. If for some reason I can't complete my term, the county commission makes that decision. By statute 57080, look it up, RSMO 57080, and it clearly states, in the absence of the sheriff, if he has to leave office or decides to leave office, the county commission will appoint an interim sheriff. If it is more than 9 months, they appoint an interim. If it's less than 9 months, they appoint an interim. If it's more than 9 months, they have to have a special election in April or special election in November. That's by statute. So I don't have the authority to say who's going to be my replacement if I were, for some odd reason, I had to step down. So that's strictly rumor. Anyone stating that, that's not true. And there's a statute. You can look it up for yourself.
Further questions? Go ahead.
So thank you.
I cut you off a while ago, and you still got, well, actually.
Thank you all for standing out there listening to me. Thank you for supporting me the last 20 years. I want to thank my wife for putting up with me. But anyway, y'all put your trust in me over the last 20 years. I don't feel as if I've let you down. So I'm asking you to trust me for the next 4 years and reelect me as your sheriff on August 6th. Thank you all very much.
This time, can I get Jacob Clary to come up for the assessor's office? Mr. Clary.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for coming out. My name is Jacob Clary. I was born and raised here in Stoddard County. Graduated high school at Bloomfield. After graduation, joined the Army. After 7 years, I met my wife, Tyra Jane. We had our first daughter, Scarlett Lucille, and decided time for a little change of pace, something a little more, constant. So we moved back here to Stoddard County, where I started working at Christian Dowdy Lumber until I got the opportunity from my predecessor, Dan Craig, to get a job there in the assessor's office. Since then, we've had our second daughter, Lydia Ray. Governor Parson, after my predecessor, Dan Craig, stepped down, appointed me July 3rd of last year of 2023 to the assessor. And fortunately for me, I'm running unopposed this year. I love what I do. I try to be as thorough as possible. I do my job with integrity. I try to be as fair and impartial as I can be. I check every single parcel in the county every year. I see it with my own eyes, and I'm willing to work with anybody. There's human mistakes, errors anytime. If there's an issue with your tax bill or if you think you're overassessed, you're more than welcome to come in to the office. You can call, sit down in my office, and we'll work it out. That's just about it. Anybody got any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Clary?
Thank you all.
If I can get Mr. Speakman to come up for the collector-treasurer position. You think I got to get my timer, huh?
Hello, everyone. I am Josh Speakman. I'm the county collector and treasurer. If I knew I was speaking, I would have probably done something a little different with my hair. So, no, I'm just really grateful for the opportunity to serve as your collector treasurer, being an elected official here in Stoddard County. Grateful for my wife, my kids. My wife, she's a nurse practitioner at Southeastern Cape, and I have my 10-year-old niece, 9-year-old daughter, and currently, or just turned 5-year-old son. They weren't able to make it here. I wanted to talk a little bit about me personally. I'm from Bell City. I live just outside of Advance now. A graduate of Bell City. I was 7th of my class. The number in that class is really irrelevant. 27, I think. Anyway, whenever I travel and talk to people, I tell people that. But I'm a proud conservative. I'm a proud Christian, a proud husband, and I'm a proud Republican. I'm glad to be affiliated with a party that stands for the Second Amendment, that stands for small businesses, stands for small government is better than big government, stands for border securities, stands for low taxes, and that we make better decisions ourselves. I'm glad to stand with a party that understands that this country doesn't have a color problem, it has a character problem, that the left tends to point us in the direction that we have a sense of entitlement or a victimhood mentality. We've done some really good things in the collector's office. Just to name a few, over the past couple years since I've been in office, we've passed the installment plan. So on personal property or real estate, if you want to pay monthly, you can. We ACH it out of your account once either on the 5th or the 20th. So it's kind of like a county offered escrow. Worked with the commission to get Senate Bill 190 adopted here in the county so that senior citizens 62 or older can have a freeze on their real estate homestead taxes. And of course, we'll talk about that if you guys have questions. The office, the staff has been phenomenal to work with, honestly. They've supported me through and through. It's a carryover staff from my predecessor. Some of the other things is the way we invest our money, getting the most bang for our buck. But I'm very proud of the job that we've done and very appreciative of you all allowing me to serve in that position. So with that said, I thank you. God bless the United States of America, our county, your families, and your futures. I appreciate it.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Speaker? Any questions? I think you get all free tonight. Good. At this time, can I have the two candidates for coroner up front, please? Okay, so according to our list, you get to go first.
Good evening. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Brent Stidham. I'm married to Lauren Blair Stidham, and we have a 1.5-year-old son named Holland Mark Stidham. He's not here tonight because he would be shaking all of you guys down for snacks, and I thought that him saying "Dada" from the crowd would be a little bit of a distraction. We are both lifelong Stoddard County residents. I grew up in Dexter with a lot of my family from Bernie, and Lauren grew up in Essex. I currently serve on the board of directors for the Stoddard County Major Case Squad. I'm a member of the Stoddard County Child Fatality Review Panel, co-founder of the Stidham Memorial Scholarship at Dexter High School, a member of the Stoddard County Republican Club, Dexter Ducks Unlimited, Missouri Farm Bureau, the Missouri Coroners and Medical Examiners Association, and the International Coroners and Medical Examiners Association. I have been a Stoddard County Deputy Sheriff since 2014 and Stoddard County Coroner since 2021. During my time as coroner, I have worked and investigated over 375 death investigations, including homicides, overdoses, suicides, and accidents. I'm a Christian, a conservative, and I'm the first Republican coroner in Stoddard County in over 100 years. Since taking over the office in January of 2021, I have saved Stoddard County taxpayers over $36,000 by consistently being under budget every year. You know, everyone who runs for this position will say that they will be a voice for those who no longer have one. I said the same thing, and I have delivered on that promise. While serving in this position, I have been the last line of defense for the deceased, and I have proven that by working with our local law enforcement and with prosecuting attorney Sawyer Smith to secure criminal charges and convictions for individuals who take the life of another. I'm an independent coroner, and I'm the only candidate in this race who is not affiliated with a funeral home. I do not currently, and I have never worked for a funeral home. I feel that that is an important trait to ensure that proper investigations are completed and that no bias is shown when a family member is choosing a funeral home. The duties of coroner, as outlined by state statute, say nothing about being a funeral director. They say nothing about being an embalmer. What they do say is that the coroner is the person responsible for investigating deaths. With my experience this term and as a law enforcement officer for 11 years, I feel I am the most qualified for this position. During this race, I have not spoken in a negative manner towards anyone, including my opponent or his supporters. However, I did read a campaign announcement that seemed to indicate that my opponent was suggesting that I do this position for fame and self-recognition. I have to strongly disagree with that statement. I do have my faults just as everyone else does, but I think everyone who knows me knows that I do not lack being humble. By the age of 28, I had lost both of my parents, my older brother, a childhood best friend, and my grandparents. Those losses shaped me into the person that I am today, and I was taught at a young age how to be humble. If Charles truly believes that's the person I am, then I would encourage him to reach out to the near 400 families that I have worked with during this term and ask them what their opinion is of me. I assure you, when I knock on someone's door at 3 o'clock in the morning to do a death notification, I am not doing it for fame, and I am not doing it for self-recognition. I am very proud of my record as coroner. While this is often a position that is not thought of, I have taken a proactive approach to ensure that proper death investigations are conducted, and I remain a fiscal conservative for the taxpayers. I have also worked with Boot Hill Counseling and other private entities to raise mental health and drug abuse awareness, and I have been endorsed by over 70 Stoddard County public safety professionals, including people from Stoddard County EMS, the Dexter Police Department, the Essex Fire Department, the Stoddard County Sheriff's Office, the Puxico Police Department, the Puxico Fire Department, and the Advance Fire Department. I work with these individuals on a daily basis, so their endorsement means a lot to me. I'm proud to work alongside all of them. I want to thank the Farm Bureau for hosting this forum, and just as I did 4 years ago, I want to say thank you to all of the candidates. It takes a lot to run for office. It takes a lot of sacrifice, and so we really appreciate everybody for being here tonight. It's been an honor serving as your Stoddard County coroner. I'm proud of the work I have done. I have to thank my family and everybody who has stood beside me during this term, and I'm asking for your vote on August 6th. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Gary. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Charlie Robertson. Anybody here know where Toadsuck, Missouri is? I got some people out there. If you don't know where Toadsuck is, you know where Leora is. If you don't know Leora, it's up north in the county, up there north of Bloomfield. I am a 1983 graduate of Bloomfield High School. I turned 18 41 years ago in boot camp of the United States Army. Went on to become a U.S. Army paratrooper. Spent 7.5 years serving our service. I served our country, our county. One thing back then, we took an oath to serve on foreign and domestic soil. I've been on both of those soils and proud of it. One thing in the oath, we took it and we said, so help me God. 2014, I answered a call to preach. Didn't put in for that position, but God called me to preach. We're the pastor of Bible Tabernacle Church in Bloomfield, where I serve God, serve the church, and serve all of its members. I am in the funeral home business. After 30 years in transportation, 3 years ago I went to work for Watkins Funeral Home here in Dexter. I've seen several of you families that I've either conducted arrangements with or different funerals. The same compassion that I've shown to you there is the same compassion that I would use and have to serve as your county coroner. My wife and I, we've raised 4 kids. We have 4 grown kids, 3 granddaughters. They haven't given us a boy yet. We've all got girls. My granddaughter, the youngest, will tell you Papa's her favorite. I truly believe that we were put on this earth to serve others. I truly believe that we are supposed to be our brother's keeper. Like I said, the same dedication working in a funeral home is the same dedication I would have. Pro-life Republican, Bible-believing Christian. I too feel that we have a duty to protect each and every one of us, especially those that do not have a voice. Now, as far as what the comment was said, that and I've got my paperwork here, this is what I put when I filed for candidate. I did say I'm not running for this position for fame or self-recognition. I do not require a hey, look at me mentality, but rather would like to continue to serve all of you. I would appreciate your support and pray that God continues to bless and keep you. Mr. Sidham, if you took that any way other than respect, it was not meant that way. When I say that I want to serve, I believe that we should serve our brothers and sisters. As county coroner, it's just another way in which I can serve our community. Fame and fortune, it's not about fame and fortune. It's about, at the end of the day, did we do everything was right? Did we look at our brothers and sisters? When you lay down to sleep at night, can you go down to sleep and say, hey, I did what was right? People sometimes make mistakes. People sometimes have differences. But if we believe in God and we follow the 10 Commandments, plus others in the Bible, I believe that's what leadership is all about. And I'm looking forward to leading you as your coroner.
This time, we'll open the floor to questions for Mr. Stidham. Any questions for Mr. Stidham? I don't see any. Do we have? Yes, got one right here.
Okay, so I hope nobody in here has had Brent at your house for a death. Unfortunately, for my wife and I, we did when our son passed away. And I have personally worked side by Brent on, thankfully, not 370 calls, but multiple calls that were deaths since I worked for the sheriff's office. And he has been nothing but professional, just as professional as Kenny was before him. And I just want to say that if there's any doubt on that, then somebody can call the other 370 people, because Brent is a great coroner, and I just appreciate it. And I know your son's not here, but don't worry, he heard you.
Well, thank you, John. You know, usually, John, you're the loudest in the room, so I was just trying to one-up you. John, I do appreciate that. I'll never forget that day. I pray for you every single day, you and Courtney and Rylan. You're a close friend, great co-worker of over 10 years. We both look a lot older now than we did whenever we both started back in 2014, 2015. So, but thank you for your comment, John.
Any other questions? Any other questions at all? Do we have any questions for Mr. Robertson? Back over there, back one.
I just wanted to thank you for clarifying the statement that was at the end of the Show Me Times article. I do appreciate that, because I was one of the ones that kind of was very iffy about that. I also just want to say that last December, we were faced with a family friend that we were all he had, and he burned up in his house. And it was only then that I realized just exactly what a coroner does, and Brent did it amazing. He was just perfect. But I do thank you for making that statement, and I thank you for being here tonight.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Any other questions, Mr. Robertson? Thank you. And now, can I get Miss Lori Duckworth up here? I just want to personally say one thing about this lady that's getting ready to talk to you. In many ways, she has the most thankless job in this county, and she works her rear end off at it.
Thank you. Don't have much to say other than Lori Duckworth, public administrator. Lived in Stoddard County my entire life, Bloomfield specifically, never left it. Married for over 25 years, have 3 adult children, 4 grandchildren. Was appointed at the end of last year for this position, and it has been an honor, a blessing, and something that I take great pride in. I currently serve almost 90 wards, and I treat them and try to serve to the best of my ability for each and every one of them, just like they're my own child. They deserve a voice, they deserve an advocate, and they deserve to be cared for, and that's what I do. Thank you.
Mr. Rowland, do you want to wrap up, or would you like me to? Come right ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give all of our candidates a big round of applause. Thank you. Thank you to Mr. Gary Wyman and Mr. Steve Morrison for keeping time tonight. Mr. Jim Griebing and the Boot Hill Regional Planning Commission for the use of their building. We thank you. And thank you to all the board members that brought snacks tonight. Folks, all those cookies back there are homemade. So thank them for providing that this evening. Thank you, Show Me Times, Dexter Daily Statesman, and A-Corp Media for coming out tonight. We appreciate y'all and for rebroadcasting this on your respective websites. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out tonight. The Farm Bureau does this for your benefit, so you know what your candidates stand for, and hopefully better educate your vote come the upcoming votes. Again, thank you for coming out tonight, and we hope everything turns out the way you want it on your elections. Thank you.